Kyogi here does not know why or how he's been summoned to the Public Morales Committee room, as the girl in front of him called out to his erect, soul. Yes, definitely his soul, as she called him here to gobble him up. Hold on, let me check some notes. Okay, let's see here. Yep, that seems to be canon. Alrighty then. Kyogi says, "You're going to do what now?" As she starts hee-heeing and ha-haing as she says she's the daughter of the demon of gluttony, Beelzebub, Canon, the gourmet. As she then says in short how she's come to this realm to devour souls and he should be honored to be eaten by her. And Kyogi's like, shit, say less. Kyogi is a boy who takes dubs in any shape or form. Canon, surprised he's not trembling in fear, but why would he do that when Kyogi has been dreaming and wishing upon a star above the world so high like a diamond in the sky that a demonic seductress such as herself would gobble him up? Don't we all? As her cosplay has him bricked up like he's making a castle. Kanan, who Lord knows, actually, I guess it would be devil knows in this case, how saying she would gobble him up would not sound sexual. But apparently she somehow forgot that high school boys contain 95% of pure concentrated horny. However, the problem is, Kanan is faking as the hot seductress until she makes it, as she's a several thousand-year-old virgin, which is quite frankly impressive. Does she get a trophy or medal for that? Because I feel like she should. As Kyogi is continuing to ooze copious amounts of horny, the sweet summer child Kanan says, "Don't only people who like each other very much do that stuff? No, not even close. If you're horny enough, you will sleep with just about anyone. You'll just lie to yourself about them before, during, and after." Kyogi says, well, that's convenient as he likes her right now. Many mistakes have been made due to this level of horniness. Kanan doesn't know what to do as she's inadvertently released one of Earth's greatest weapons out of the bottle. As Kyogi's pretty sure she invited him here because she likes him. Now, even though she has lived for thousands of years, she has never had a first love, fling, crush, regret, anything. The reason for this is she only looked at humans through her soul vision, so she decides to use her actual eyes to look at him and oh no, he's hot! As Kyogi's hitting Kanan with a nasty ass meaty setup, Kanan at this point is overwhelmed by the fact that she's fallen for a human, but Kyogi decides to press on the brakes. A teenage boy in full hornball mode pressing any type of brakes, no chance. Kyogi says since it seems he's bothering her, it's fine if she just uses her mouth. Yep, that sounds more accurate. Kanan shockingly rejects that proposal, so as a compromise, he's okay with just the hands. Shit, he'll also take the feet at this point. Realizing at this rate he'll have to hit up his right hand again tonight, he resorts to his last pitch and says, how about a date instead? Kanan thinks she could work with that. Wait, booyah! Gotcha, bitch! We only take dubs out here! As Kanan realizes she just got the classic foot in the door technique performed on her. It's now the next day, and as Kanan delusionally rambles on about soul devouring, which she has not done once yet, by the way, but she gets stun grenaded by Kyogi's entrance as he came to walk home with her. Somehow being thrown off guard by this completely predictable event, says, why would she walk home with a lower life form? For him to tell her that he is her boyfriend. Wait, did he just self-promote himself to boyfriend? I swear he said go on a date. And I'm not starting, you know what? That's irrelevant, because regardless, this makes her swoon. My god, she's easier than playing Minecraft on peaceful difficulty. After thinking it over, she decides she'll make sure to show Kyogi his place. Stunningly, this does not go according to plan, as it was much more stimulating than she would have thought. She comes up with the drivel that she's only using him as a meat shield, as someone with her noble presence doesn't know when she'll be attacked. But Kyogi is happy to be of service, as to be her shield, they'll need to be closer, and they should probably even hold hands not to get separated. If she gives him a centimeter, he's going to find a way to make that shit a light year. However, Kanan's brain cannot fathom holding hands. Once again, I remind you she's several thousand years old, and she believes holding hands is how heirs are produced. Holy shit, I didn't know that the Demon World sex education course was on par with the US's. Kanan continues just being Kanan at this point, thinking how to get around holding hands. It then clicks for her to tie his hands up with a rope like it's bondage play. She turns around smugly thinking she's outsmarted a man who has not been doing any smartening to begin with, but Kyogi thinks this is awesome. Just wait for it, because he thinks this means she doesn't want to be away from him and wants to subjugate both his mind and body, as he can hear the whispers of her heart and feel her love. Kanan's brain can't process what the fuck is happening, so she just runs away. While running away, she remembers how she only came to the human realm to eat human souls. the thing she still has not done yet. So how the hell is this happening? Flashback time, we see Cannon asking her papa, who's eating, consuming, engulfing food, as she explains how all the food down here recently started tasting like dog water, so she would like to go to the human realm to try some human souls. Her father, who's being served by what I'm assuming is a demon in a bunny girl suit. Now why is she in a bunny girl suit? Who knows? He agrees. She's like, cool, I'm out. But thanks to Kyogi, the only thing that's out right now is her mind. Speaking of Kyogi, who's been tied up and literally being dragged the entire time while Kanan was flashbacking. But he seems pretty content with it, as that was the most stimulating walk of his life. Man, either he's really positive or has some kinks. I mean, it could just be both. After that dragging, he thanks her for pampering him like a pet, as that wasn't all that bad either. Never mind, that previous statement is just pure kink. Kanan's brain is still trying to download that software update. Kyogi gets up and wants to try something he's never got to do, which is eat with his girlfriend. Kanan, who is just in a permanent state of confusion, is hesitant to eat the human food, wondering if there's any sauce to put on her croquette, as she likes sauce with her cuisines. Kyogi says that's blasphemy against the great croquette, and he's rather disappointed in her. Kanan is floored, thinking he's the last person who gets to be disappointed in anybody. But she was unprepared for the absolute atomic bomb worth of opinions this man was going to drop on just this single croquette. However, she finds this quite cute of him, considering she mostly only thought he was a pervert, which he's not a pervert, he's just a freak. After not really listening to a single word of his ramblings, she decides to give it a taste, and her mind is blown by how good it is, as everything she's eaten recently has been so bland. So why does this taste so good? It's called the power of seasoning. Yogi then mentions today's batch must taste a bit better because he's eating it with her. I'm a fucking vomit. Kanan has no response, as she has always eaten alone, so she thinks maybe he's right. I swear I'm a fucking vomit, they keep this up. As she proceeds to keep eating, asking him what he's looking at, Yogi responds that she's just so cute when she eats. This causes Kanan to explode and call him a lower life form. Again, this is Alistair, who's a bit tired and is going to go take a small break. This is Marjorie, who on such a beautiful day is going to go find a nice spot to read her book. Upon going to his usual spot, Alistair encounters Marjorie in his spot, and the two enjoy some friendly banter before their sheep clothing falls off, as these two are actually what some would describe as horrible, disgusting people, or in my case, they're my people, as their ultimate goal in life is to find someone rich to do Tinder swindler their ass and leech off of them for the rest of existence. Alistair is curious as to what book Marjorie is reading that made her welcome herself in his spot once again. She says it's called How to Dispose of Your Childhood Friend, a Guide to the Perfect Crime. Wow. That's fucked up. Realizing that she's going to put him on the ID channel, he is going to have to put her there first. Hey, did you know the two people plotting against each other like spy versus spy are actually childhood friends? While these two are bonding with each other, noise can be heard from the town, and it's at night from the round table. Howard Huber, who has come here to collect the newly appointed saintess, Marjorie, on declaration of the oracle. This Marjorie, a saintess. Marjorie is not too big a fan of Alistair's enjoyment of the situation, but Alistair is not even 100% sure the fuck the Saintess is or does. Marjorie is always just so perplexed at the Neanderthal Alistair is. She explains the Saintess is a woman who is chosen by oracles to save people with their kindness and fight against the demons. Marjorie, kind. Marjorie will remember how amusing Alistair finds this whole situation. He can laugh all he wants to, as she's not touching this job with a 50,000 foot pole. But wouldn't she be able to live out her dream of being spoiled and pampered? Hell no, dumbass. She would be under the world's biggest microscope, always having to be kind, caring, and loving. And the thought of that just disgusts her down to her very core. So she's gonna go ahead and bounce before they make her have to do all that self-righteous bullshit. Alistair, seeing nothing but green grass in front of him, tells Marjorie that she should do it. Marjorie could give two fucks about what he has to say, as Alistair says, but dear Saintess, what about all those people that need you? Marjorie vehemently refuses, as she does not want to be no Saintess. Alistair is dragging one defender with him as he's at the 50, the 40, the 30. He seems to be laughing as he's dragging this poor defender with him. He's at the 20. The defender is trying her damnedest to bring down Alistair, but he's still at the 10. And the knight seems to be getting rather impatient with the villagers wondering where she is, when then touchdown Alistair. as here he is with the new Saintess Marjorie, who currently hates everything, as she puts on her puppy dog eyes and puts on her greatest Oscar-worthy performance of her life to not win this award, but with her co-star doing everything in his God-given acting ability to make sure she gets this goddamn award. The knight then explains to her that if she's not the real Saintess or refuses the award, she'll be stoned and burned at the stake. Marjorie says good thing she really loves awards. Realizing that the roof is closing in on her back's against the wall, they got the fucking drop on her, she must change her tactics to if she's going down, so the fuck is Alistair. After some external fraudulent pleading and some internal taunting, insults, and threats between the two, she manages to back Alistair into a corner to where he has to go to the capital with her to protect his counterfeit image. Now that the capital Alistair is taking in the capital, while on the other hand, Marjorie's brain blasting how she can possibly drag Alistair all the way down with her. After seeing Marjorie's face, Alistair realizes that's his cue to fucking leave pronto. The knight says how that's too bad. Marjorie, who at this point in time is just letting out copious amounts of pure hating ass energy, as she's not going to let Alistair go that easy. But with his spider senses going off the charts, Alistair proceeds to speak some pure, refined cap about how he's going to work even harder, even though he actively only skips out on work. As Alistair looks over to Marjorie and asks her not to be so selfish and to think about him and the children, Marjorie's internal dialogue goes a little something like this. Children? What fucking children are you referring to, you piece of shit? So after managing to somehow slick talk himself out of this situation, he leaves the capital. But he decided to walk back on foot. Holy shit, Marjorie, he might actually be a Neanderthal, which is why he gets attacked by some Smurfs. While running away, asking the Smurfs to kindly and sincerely fuck off, and while thinking some more and complete BS, Alistair, like a character in a horror movie, trips over a tree root and falls over some bushes, and has the nerve to get mad at the tree for just vibing, and the Smurfs have lost sight of him. Just like that. Guess they didn't get that new patch yet. Alistair, in need of a medkit, stumbles, bumbles, and mumbles, then he sees it. Durandal, the equipped spell used to grab any fire warrior monster from deck to hand, and after bathing in the sword's holy glow, it makes Alistair nauseous, and after mocking the sword, it for some reason calls out to him. This fills Alistair with pure contempt as he knows this smells like a pain in the ass. And as he tries to leave, the sword says it has that med kit he was looking for. Begrudgingly, Alistair goes over to the sword, who's been desperate to talk to anybody. But Alistair does not care. Where is the med kit? And during negotiations, the Smurfs somehow found them. And what's this? There seems to be only one weapon around. Alistair then realizes he's been set up, but with no other options, he pulls the sword out. Back at the capital where Marjorie is contemplating mass Alistair's side, she manages to gaslight the knight into thinking that she's worried about Alistair going back alone. So she convinces him that they should go make sure he's safe. After grabbing the sword, it starts yelling and groaning. Alistair's wondering if this thing comes with a mute button. And after all that's said and done, the sword is now all black and is fucking pissed off at Alistair, wondering how in the fuck is he so corrupt that just by merely holding it, he corrupted it. And what's even worse for them is that now they're contracted with each other, so it can hear all of Alistair's real thoughts. So that's terrible for all parties. And so after having a little bit of a powwow filled with threats and pleading, there's still some little Smurfs that need to be defeated. But the sword is like, I hope you fucking die for what you've done to me. And Alistair's like, that's not the deal they made. And the sword's like, I don't remember me being corrupted being part of the deal either, dick, but here we are. Alistair tells the sword that it would also be in danger, and the sword's like, would I? Last time I checked, monsters can't use holy weaponry. And Alistair's like, the fuck that got to do with the you right now? The sword's offended and tries to show off its holy power. The holy power never did show up. The Smurfs onlooking as the two have a domestic, but refusing to die like this, Alistair tries one last trick and lifts up the sword and calls out the sword's name. The sword's like, the fuck did you just call me? As the sword gets filled up with dark, powerful mana, it releases a large black beam. Back to Marjorie and the knight, who are still searching for Alistair, when they see said dark, baleful, eerie beam that gives the knight a dark feeling while making Marjorie feel all cozy and stuff. But that mana feels familiar, like it's filled with irredeemable trash. That's fucking Alistair. Back to the sword, who's having more of an identity crisis than Drake, and proceeds to take out its wrath on the Smurfs for introducing the two of them, as the sword evicts the life from everything within a mile radius. And then as the two have another quarrel because the ex-holy sword wants to save the world, and Alistair says he ain't being no hero, that's a sucker ass job, and he knows it. But because of their fighting, Alistair didn't notice his devil disguised as a saintess approaching, who's just so happy to see her ever so dear childhood friend. Brother, it hasn't even been 2 seconds into the series yet, and some irrelevant ass characters are already talking some of that BS, acting like our MC Deborah ain't the baddest bitch in every room she has ever walked in, as she proves this by glaring at a butler, walking over to said butler and slapping him like he should be working the corner right now. Matter of fact, slapped his goofy ass so hard his hair fell off. And as he's like, "But princess, what'd I even do?" For Deborah's response to be, "Oh my, would you look at that? It seems your face attracted my hand." As the bystanders start fainting, like, "Nah though, for real, what'd I do?" She reiterates once again that his face was just so attractive that her hand had to cop a feel. So he should be careful with a face like that, cause next time both of her hands might want to cop a feel of his throat. Her reason for doing this: 1, he had an affair, and 2, pushing his pregnant wife down the stairs and breaking her spleen. As the rest of the constituents start gossiping, as for Deborah, she grabs a drink, as she doesn't give a fuck about any of these motherfuckers here, since she's virtually untouchable, as she's the Duke's daughter. While the gathering continues on, Deborah just kicking it and drinking all by herself. But uh-oh, the hating ass bitch alarm is going off, as Viscountess Ripley comes over and says she has to speak with her. Deborah's like, "Oh really? What do you have to say to me, Ripley?" Ripley, realizing she's not even in the same timeline as Deborah, remembers that damn, she thinks she left her oven on. And Deborah's quite glad she left, cause you see, Deborah isn't really Deborah. She's actually Yoon Do-hee, a woman from South Korea who's actually quite the pushover. But after being murked by RC, she reincarnated and thought to herself that pushover shit, yeah, we ain't running that back. But let us go back to when she first possessed Deborah, where she was at first confused and trying to wake herself up, but then Do-hee gets starstruck by just how beautiful she had become. But a maid walks in and sees her doing these things, and she drops the meal and starts shaking in her boots, saying how she's committed a sin worthy to be hung and burned alive, and how she saw nothing. So please spare her. So you see, the thing is, Deborah is from a web novel Do-hee used to read before she got hit-sticked out of life. And Deborah didn't have the greatest reputation among anyone. Matter of fact, the fan favorite opinion of her are along the same line of Rachel from Tower God. And let me tell you something, I fucking hate Rachel with a passion that is unquantifiable by any math algorithms that currently exist. But back to Deborah. Yeah, so in short, everyone can't stand her and can't wait for her to fuck off and vanish. Oh, and when I say everyone, I mean everyone, including her own father. So Do-hee, we're going to have a hell of an uphill battle to fight. But before Do-hee became Deborah, apparently she went on a hunger strike because she wanted the pink diamond, a jewelry piece that is the only one in existence. So yeah, that was the type of woman Deborah was, and unsurprisingly, they didn't give it to her. Also, with her charisma being in the negatives, it didn't help much either. And so because of this little stunt, it put Deborah further down on her father's shit list. The maid, who's still begging and crying, Do-hee, who's just like, fuck, this is a lot to process. What the fuck is happening? As like I said, the last memories she had from Earth is her getting her shit blasted by RC from Transformers, just to find herself waking up in a web novel, not as the heroine, or hell, even the heroine's friend, but the whole ass villainess, to the entire plot line. But shit, ain't nothing she can do about that now. So she's stuck with this body and everything it's previously done. But on the bright side, it's rather convenient, since she's now Deborah, people will leave her alone, and no one will see her as a pushover either. Plus, on top of that, she gets to live such a significantly more luxurious life compared to what she had to live previously. So That's already 3 dubs. It's now a little while later and Dohee has invited Helen Zehort, a baron's daughter, over to show her a wild amount of dresses for a male to consider, but just your average Tuesday for a woman going shopping. Now, why does she need a dress? That's the kicker. She doesn't need one, she just wants one. So after showing Dohee the dresses, Helen gets a tad bit shook as Dohee is showing no reactions whatsoever, considering that 3 weeks ago, she kicked down Helen's door like she was SWAT and was like, "You're gonna make me a dress." And Helen was like, "Damn, that's crazy. All our spots are reserved." And Deborah was like, "Oh, so you're rejecting my order?" Helen then cries, smiling, saying they'll get right on that, while thinking, "Oh, for fuck's sakes." So that's how we got here, with Dohee making a face that would terrify some people and turn some people on, you fucking freaks. But truth is, Dohee actually really loves this dress she made. I just guess those thoughts aren't registering to her face yet, as Helen's pretty much in a hostage situation without being in a hostage situation. However, while investigating the dress, the fur on it causes Dohee to have to sneeze, but Dohee for some reason thinks she shouldn't sneeze, so she has to hold it in. But Deborah's facial expression seemed to only range from irritated to furious, as Helen is currently suffering through a crisis that is not really a crisis, but sure as hell feels like it to Helen. But worry not, Helen, this is just her face when she's holding in a sneeze. Trust me, it is. No matter how much you may feel like your life is in danger right now. Oh, by the way, Dohee has not said a peep this entire time. She's only been thinking things, but the expressions Dohee are making terrify Helen enough to where she says, "That's my fault, OG. We gonna take these back and make some more that fit your taste ASAP." And Dohee finally speaks and says, "Good. Make sure to put as many jewels as possible on them." Helen and the gang skedaddle the fuck out of there like it smelled like a Super Smash Brothers tournament, as Dohee's glad she passed this self-proclaimed crisis. After said self-proclaimed crisis, Dohee is just staring at Deborah's face in awe of how pretty she is. Like, she's too pretty. But also with Deborah's eyes, it makes her seem like she's a problem. Instead of back on Earth, with Dohee's plain looks and docile personality, she looked like what people in the streets would call a mark. But now with Deborah's face, eyes, and personality, people will leave her alone, and she loves it. But now it's time for Dohee's private tutoring session, because apparently Deborah was a terrible student, as when it came to academics, some would describe Deborah as aloof or a master procrastinator. While walking around the mansion, she runs into husbando numero uno, Velric Seymour, who's the son of yada yada. The most important thing here about him is that he himself is a nut job, Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs, Nutty Professor, and so on. Now, if this was the OG Deborah, she would have lost her mind by just seeing him. For Dohee, this is okay, because thanks to Velric and his twin brother, yes, that's right, he has a twin brother, she gets to live a life on easy mode thanks to those punks. Dohee opens the door and we see the tutor, Patrick. And so Patrick goes into a history lesson, and after going on about the history of the continent, and I'm assuming Dohee's listening, but with the face she's currently making, it's entirely possible she's zoned out. But I guess she was listening, because it made her realize just the type of golden, platinum, diamond spoon Deborah was born with because of her lineage. So just how fucking crazy were her actions to meet the kind of pathetic fate that befalls her. But it doesn't matter to Dohee, as Dohee thinks, "Ain't gonna let that shit happen to me though." Hate, one of the strongest emotions one could feel. And this feeling can even be magnified if it's also filled with envy. In this fusion dance of emotions, it's currently being directed at an individual known as the Flame Emperor, who is the main character of this world, and the one directing this hate and envy is our main character, who would describe himself as the world's biggest hater, as he hates the way the Flame Emperor walks, hates the way he talks, hates the way he dresses, hates the way he acts, hates the way he breathes, hates the way he opens doors, hates how rich he is, hates all the attention he gets, hates how powerful he is, hates everything about him. As the reporter asked the Flame Emperor, aka Yu Suha, what advice can he give to the young aspiring hunters? Yu says, "Listen to me closely, you wanna be bitch ass nobodies. I'm the motherfucker y'all dream to be, but will never achieve. And if any of y'all dares to fuck with me, know that you fucking with death." Hates the way he thinks, hates the way the sun hits his face, hates the way he looks on the laptop, hates the food he eats, hates the way he eats, hates the way his eyes look at things, hates the way he makes his life feel like shit, hates the way he brushes his teeth, hates the way he drinks orange juice, hates the way he ties his shoes. When then a mysterious glowing light appears above our MC's head. Could it be that the gods of Hayton have finally heard his cries of hatred? And it seems they did, as the message above the card says, an unprecedented level of Hayton has been detected. The tower is astonished by his level of Hayton, and will give him a skill befitting of such levels of hatred. Is shocked, wondering where the hell they've been at, cause he been struggling. But now, with the god of Hayton on his side, his levels of Hayton can reach an ungodly level not seen since the likes of one man named Kung Fu Kenny. As our MC grabs the gift of Hayton, as it's called, I fucking hate everything about you. Its rank, SS+. Effect is when killed by a motherfucker you can't stand, you finesse one of that fuck skills, but you can only take one of that fuck skills. But the kicker is he needs to die for the skill to proc. Talk about a swift kick in the nuts. Drunk as all hell, face first on the table, rants into the manager about how he could possibly be a hater if he's dead. As the manager's like, the hell is he talking about? He tells the manager it doesn't even make sense. Sure, maybe he could then hate in his corporeal form, but if he's going to hate properly, it must be in a physical form. As he got a skill yesterday that would be perfect for hating, but it would kill him to use it. What type of sick fucking joke is this? The manager tells him to take that shit outside. Now outside in a drunken stupor, our MC hears the screams of a damsel. And what's this she's talking to? The Flame Emperor? Whatever could they be talking about? As it turns out that Mr. Flame Emperor here has poisoned Miss Saintess's drink, as he accuses her of poisoning his drink first. And she's like, what? No. Because you see, our MC is not the only hater of the Flame Emperor, as everyone within the hunter culture cannot stand this motherfucker either, and have been wanting him gone for years. As our MC listens to this conversation, keeping his mouth shut, for him to realize that he is not the only one who can't stand this fuck. As the Flame Emperor then grabs her neck like she's a turkey, as he explains that he has a bullshit meter, and when she talks, it's going all the way off the charts. As he asks her who ordered her to kill him. Ooh, I know, it's everybody. Not everybody, everybody. But the Saintess ain't no goddamn snitch, so fuck him, she ain't telling him shit. As he proceeds to give the Saintess a hot girl summer to remember, as this gives our MC just another reason to hate this motherfucker. But he is in danger, so he should probably skedaddle. But in his drunk stupor, he ends up stepping on a glass bottle, which of course alerts Emperor Dickhead, and our MC gets his feet sliced off and starts pleading with the Emperor, telling him he didn't see nothing. The Emperor's like, good, now tell me, who do you work for? Listen man, I'm just a nobody, use your BS meter and you'll see I'm not lying. The Flame Emperor's like, oh, that. I made that up. And our MC's like, wait, so you just killed her on pure speculation? The Flame Emperor is like, yep, as that's all someone of his stature needs to do anything. He then hardboils
김공장
brain. Holy shit, that was our MC's name this entire time? As he gets a notification telling him congratulations, he died, and the condition for his skill has been activated. So let's spin that gotcha wheel to see what skill he's gonna earn. As Kim wakes up wondering what the hell is happening, he should definitely be dead. Wait a second. Wait just a goddamn second. Is it yesterday? No shot. What possible skill could he have got? Deus Ex fuck you, skill rank EX, skill effect, did you die like a jackass? Did some little twat kill you? Well, you could tell them fuck you by rewinding the clock 24 hours before your death. You're welcome. However, the more you rank up, the more it's gonna fucking suck to die. As Kim is like, holy shit, and I keep my memories, which means that my hating can reach even grander heights. And oh, so this is how he was never killed, because he would just go back in time, huh? I guess that's why it's called Deus Ex fuck you. Cause it really is just one giant middle finger to everyone. As Kim remembers when you said that try me if you want to line, cause now with infinite hating potential, it's time to put that little line to the test. As Dickhead this time calls the fire to erase the evidence, but then he appears out of nowhere acting all innocently like he didn't just start that bitch. As the hating starts taking over Kim's body, even though he might nearly be the incarnation of hate, he ain't there just yet. As the Flame Emperor continues selling false goods, but Kim really knows who this son of a bitch is, as he must end him, for the power of hate compels him. As he walks up to the Flame Emperor, or so we thought, as I told you, the power of hate compels him. As he walks into the fire, getting grilled. The steps to becoming the incarnation of hating is a long journey. As he wakes up, it's 24 hours back in the past. And for a useless rank like him, there's no penalty for death. So with no penalty, how far must he go back to begin his hating? A month? Nah, not long enough. 6 months? Still not long enough. A year? And it probably still wouldn't work. 5 years? That's not hating enough to properly become the incarnation of hate. He must return to when that fuck's career started, the origin point of it all, on that fateful day 11 years ago. And with the power of hate on his side, he just needs to hate 4,050 times, and he'll finally achieve his dream of being the incarnation of hating. All he has to do is remember how he hates the way he blinks, hates the way he smells, hates the way he smiles, hates the way he hears, hates the way his kidneys work, hates the way he licks his lips, hates the way he celebrates his birthday, hates the way he holds a spoon, hates the way he plugs in his phone to charge, hates the way he sleeps, hates the way he reads, hates the way he wakes up, hates the way he sits, and ultimately hates that he exists, as by golly, he's done it. He's returned 11 years to the past and first order of business. You know who he's finding to go ahead and show him what the incarnation of hating looks like. Our man Iori is back once again in front of the goddess. He would like to know why the hell he's back here. The goddess is like, damn, that's a good question. As they both proceed to stare blankly at each other, as just a few minutes ago he was with his classmates being abducted, for him then to immediately be napped again back in front of the goddess. And Iori's like, the fuck is going on with that? The goddess also has no idea what's happening. Fucking useless. What do you mean you don't know? It's your system. And this is why you always have people bug test your systems. Anyways, Iori asked, when can you expect those patch notes to kick in? She's like, that's a question. Here's another gift since those be the rules, but hope you figure out that bug issue. Iori been summoned once again, and where the fuck is he at? When suddenly a mad scientist starts laughing maniacally, telling Iori, how does he feel about pain? Cause he's about to get an express pass on the pain train, brother. Ew, when can Iori get a respin on that 10 spin? Cause ain't gonna hold you, this shit ass. Oh god, they're picking Iori up by his head, preparing to hit him with the devastating pain driver. The doctor starts getting all excited for the show when damn would you look at that. It seems Iori has a phone call he needs to take. And he's back. So about that bug, she doesn't care, she's not gonna fix it, as they don't pay her enough to do that, and he hopes he figures it out. And here's his obligatory gift. Again, and can he please fix this game? Wait, but she's the one who made it. On to the third 10 spin. This time, he's been summoned to be a pet, but it seems his humanity died with that last gift, or he discovered Twitter. The gift was vampirism. Werewolves are better. The elves are surprised and interested that he could speak. Some would say a little too interested. Oh, would you look at that. Danger close is procced. So Iori ain't gonna hold the goddess. He's sick and tired of this shit, man. The goddess being the way she is like, well, that sounds terrible for you. If you're so sick of rolling the gotcha, just drop your wallet on one of your 10 spins. As you can see, she's busy, so here's another gift. Also, hurry up and fix the game. On to the fourth 10 spin, and Iori immediately starts evaluating whether he wants to drop the $500 to bind himself here. Wait, $500? What is this? Tarkov? But this generator seed kind of hit, so let's hurry up and bust out the old credit card information and fuck. Seems like the princess forgot her credit card upstairs. Ooh, so close. You almost had it there, didn't you? Yours like, fuck you and the stupid ass game. Well, you know what this means. Another gift to make Iori even less human. Goddess is like, you know I'm going to have to give you another ability, right? He would really prefer if she just didn't, as the abilities are stacking up like it's a game of Tetris, and he just doesn't want to deal with any of it whatsoever. Also, why did she change her clothes? Is there a need for her to do so? As she explains that her other outfit started bugging out and it was turning into an unwanted wet t-shirt contest. Iori thinks there's no such thing as an unwanted wet t-shirt contest. The goddess explains that she is a goddess, so she can read his thoughts. Iori's like, I thought what I thought, and I have no regrets about any of those thoughts. The goddess finds this commendable of Iori to stick with his stance, and Iori's like, see, you get it. But well, that was some fun banter. Has he figured out the glitch yet? How the fuck is he supposed to know how to fix this glitch? She's like, right, he's fucking useless. But luckily she's figured it out. So it seems, typically those with true gamer skills get summoned. So why is he the only one getting summoned over and over again? Well, that's because he achieved the legendary gamer score of 999999999. On to the fifth 10 spin. He's pretty used to this by now. So who summoned him? Oh, would you look at this? She seems pretty and pretty exhausted. So what's cracking? As she breaks down the Da Vinci Code and explains how she wants him to inherit the truths of the universe. Sounds like a pain in the ass, so good luck with that. She's perplexed, wondering why not. Yeah, she summoned him to an unknown world without his will or consent, but that's in the past, so there's no need to bring up that old shit. That is an interesting negotiation tactic. It's not up to Iori if he wants to stay, as it seems it's time for him to clock out once again. So like, is he getting bonus pay or like any sort of overtime pay for this? The goddess responds, Do they look like a reasonably well-run employment establishment? Well, he doesn't remember ever being employed in the first place. Even better, that just means more unpaid labor for them to exploit. Wait, wasn't he only supposed to find this one glitch so that he could stop bugging out? Oh, right. And here's another gift, because we all know he definitely wants more of these. On to world number 6. What is this, a fucking Mario game? Oops. Seems I was mistaken. This must be the new Doom game. Huh. Neat. So any progress on that bug? Well, there's good news and bad news. The bad news, Iori's becoming less and less human by the summoning. The good news, she's finally figured out that bug and fixed it, so his next summoning will be his last summoning. While she'll miss his unpaid labor, it is time for him to finally fuck off. Iori's like, thank fucking God. She says, you're welcome. He's like, fuck off. And just don't summon him somewhere shitty. Oh, for the love of God, what in the fuck is this horseshit, man? Thank God it's over. After 160 days, 17 hours, 35 minutes, and 52 seconds of straight foolishness, he's finally beaten this godforsaken game. A game that's been released for 20 years and only one person has ever beaten it. And yes, that would be our MC, Rccap, a streamer with over 2 million subscribers, as he tells his chat just how much that game sucked. And even though he himself is one of God's few chosen gamers, this game was still beyond difficult skill-wise and has emotionally damaged chat forever, because in the final battle, all the waifus died and the only husbando to live was the main protagonist, Lucas. Well, for chat, it's one of the trillions of L's they've stacked up over the millennia. But hey, his only goal was to beat this game, not do a no death run. Are they out of their gourd? Cause just looking at Lucas standing there all by his lonesome on the corpses of enemies and allies alike, that he, Rccap, would be standing on the corpses of the developers if he tried to go for that challenge. Rccap sees a chatter actually ask a useful question. Should the devs give him a reward since he's the first person to ever beat this game on the hardest difficulty? Rccap is like, they better. Do they not understand the amount of sleepless nights he had just thinking about strategies for beating this game? Do they know the amount of doujinshis he's bought about this game? How many fanfic he himself has commissioned and drawn? Do they know how many jerk-filled chats like, okay, that's enough, we got it? He's like, as long as they understand just how fucking hard that game was, then good. I mean, it's so goddamn hard. They never bothered releasing a sequel since no one could beat the OG one. Gosh, he can only imagine the reward he's going to get from the developers for beating this game. When then ding, Rccap receives a message from who else but Pokimane. No, unfortunately, it was the game developer. This throws chat into an uproar, while Rccap is stun-locked as the developer types, huh. To be honest, they didn't know it was possible to even beat the game. They just kind of threw it out there and hoped all of them would eventually figure it out. Rccap's face says it all. You got to be fucking kidding me. The developer then types, yeah, it did a few playtests and the gaming journalists couldn't get past the first level, but they already put so much money into it, they were like, it's fine, it's surely a perfectly balanced game with no exploits whatsoever. Rccap wonders for his gift, could they possibly tell him their personal home addresses, as he would like to personally go over to each of their houses and just chat. They're like, so about that. He's like, is there an issue? They type, so like the thing about where they happen to reside right now, as he's like, it shouldn't be a problem since he's the first person to beat their perfectly balanced game with no exploits. So he should get to decide what the gift is. And they're like, okay, since you want it so badly. As Rccap pops a molly, my God, I think he's sweating. As he reawakens to find himself in a new body on a battlefield wondering what the fuck is currently happening. As he manages to get the hell out of the way of crumpling Farrah Missoula. As the smell of gunpowder fills the air, the cannons burst in his ears. That was a close one. It almost turned into a Helldiver incident. As another cannon goes off right next to him, he turns to shout if you fire that cannon one more time, he's going to shove his fist so far up their ass. But as he turns, he sees a flag that gives him Nam flashbacks. No, 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 no. The soldiers keep fighting as Rccap is still knowing they can't do this to him, man. As a soldier runs over to him saying, Your Majesty, but seeing the man's face so close to his face so fast, jump scares the hell out of him, causing him to tell the soldier to stop, drop, Shut him down, open up shop! As the soldier drops in honor and respect of the Rough Riders anthem being sung by his lord, as Rccap thinks for a brief second that maybe he isn't where he thinks he is, as he's like, so would you happen to know where? When suddenly a wind bomb gets hurled in the direction. Rccap gets thrown quite far back from the attack, thinking, yeah, this seems about right. As he sees some men to the right of him meeting the goblet of fire, while the soldiers on his left are like, we can't let the enemies up here, they'll scare the hoes. When then the soldier gets his muffin cap peeled back blue, Rccap is like, oh god, no. As the soldier's severed hand gets sent flying over to him and his blood gets splattered on his face, that definitely can't be sanitary. As the other soldiers get turned into an elementary school spider's art project, Rccap is like, please don't do this to me, man. As the giant arachnid is now looking at him with its many eyes, it starts singing Rebecca Black Friday to him. Nah, put that dog water back on the karaoke rack and get the fuck out. As the soldiers yell, boo, kill the DJ! They run towards the spider as the spider retaliates by severing their bond with life. I guess criticizing the spider singing and song choice was a bad idea, as Rccap realizes, oh god, is going to be singing that song to him for the rest of eternity. As the spider approaches closer, preparing to hit the playback button, when no, it wasn't a bird or a plane, it was Lucas. This has Rccap be like, aha, I fucking knew it! And Lucas is like, you knew what? Rccap thinks, those sons of harpies really put me in this perfectly balanced game with no exploits whatsoever. I'm going to turn them into toilet paper when I catch them. I swear it. As Lucas is like, Your Highness, we still need to get rid of these spiders as they're scaring all the hoes away. Speaking of scaring the hoes, back up straight, Your Highness. You need to be presentable. No, I can't be scaring the hoes. But Rccap thinks for just a second and is like, fuck the hoes. What the hell are they gonna do about the Rebecca Black singing spiders? War never changes. Bloody brutal and completely sucks. As Takar Rizzo, who was your average working Joe, until a wizard hit him with the mystical spell Cardiactus Arrestores and died. Now he's just your average soldier named Wom. And while yes, Takara did in fact reincarnate, it seems his OP skills got lost in the mailing system. So oops. Well, it's fine, he's just potentially going to be on the battlefield with monsters who possess skills and magic that are capable of annihilating entire battalions by themselves, but you know, it be what it be. Speaking of B, there sure do be a lot of corpses. Well, I mean, it is a war, so I think it would be more concerning if there weren't a lot of corpses. Anyways, while Jose is glad to increase his corpse party, Wom really wishes this wasn't a terrible job. With a terrible pension, terrible retirement plan, terrible 401k, terrible benefits, terrible union, and a truly terrible work-life balance. Jose wonders why he's so serious. He isn't serious, he's just always tired. Back with the rest of the squad, his commander drunkenly congratulates Wom on achieving first prestige. Wom wishes commander would back up because his breath stank. As the commander introduces two surviving rookies, as they then ask the captain about his awesome Warhammer skill, the commander starts flexing about his skill. Wom understands how godly his skill is, but could he have not have them set up camp so close to the corpses? Jose says, come on, it's not that many corpses. Well, we only see 3 corpses that are either missing a chest and a pretzel, or got ass blasted so hard they're not even in the panel anymore. But more importantly, if Wom could pick a skill, what skill would he choose? Well, the answer's easy. It's the skill to get the fuck out of here. But it ain't that bad. Even though he doesn't have a skill, he could always learn magic like Wallard over there. Yeah, magic is something he could only dream about learning. This throws Jose and Commander for a loop, as they didn't know a machine like him could even dream. Wom now wishes the two of them would fuck off. The ruckus calms down. The commander explains how tomorrow they're going to be starting their Elden Ring boss rush, so they're going to first be invading Stormville Castle. But they better prepare properly, as the first boss market has caused many broken PCs, consoles, controllers, TVs, phones, and monitors alike. It'll be unlike anything they faced before. Wom then has a flashback back to when he was a level 1 noob. It feels like it was only yesterday that he killed a man that allegedly had a family and then almost had his head decapitated. Truly terrible times. The commander snaps Wom back into reality as they've arrived at Limgrave. Now wandering the streets of Limgrave, seeing the locals who look exactly like the locals of the lands in between. While walking the streets, one of the local women grabbed Wom and asked him how does he feel about crabs. Not sure what crab she's referring to, Wom gives her some money so that he doesn't have to think about it any further of what she meant by that. Wom better be careful giving out his money, because if he keeps that up, he might accidentally get himself an unwanted girlfriend, or hell, even boyfriend. Wom claims that that was a one-time deal, as he just didn't want to think about the crustaceans that reside in the lands in between. The captain then hits Jose and Wom with the Vaiti Varia and starts explaining all the lore of the city they're currently at. The captain then leads them into a bar so he can continue explaining the lore and his own personal theories, and how it all may be connected to the enemy they'll be facing, while enjoying his food until the captain starts speaking about how there may be giant crustaceans residing in the sewers. Wom then flees into the back alley thinking, fuck them stupid ass crabs and lobsters. Who programmed them like that? Why was there a need to pop out of the ground like a jump scare? Why? Just why? It's now the next day as the commander of the giant army, Gerard Beggar, starts giving a motivational speech before the invasion of Stormvale Manor. About for every enemy they kill, they'll get a free Happy Meal from Mickey D's. This really gets the people going. Wom just wishes the ice cream machine would work just once. Jose's confused why Wom's not more excited about the free Happy Meals per kill. Wom just wants one Oreo shake into sleep. In view of Stormvale Castle, Wom's smoking before the battle starts, hoping to end himself before they start fighting, so that he could then respawn at the nearest grace. It doesn't work. Jose kicks one of the rooks in the gonads, saying he's not going to be needing those testicles where they're going. He then looks at Noir, asking if she's hiding any from him. No, she is not. Wom reminds Jose that he probably is going to need his nuts to siege Stormvale Castle, as this is the first hurdle scrubs need to overcome. But the newbies needn't worry much, as they have the resident always tired crustacean-fearing murdering machine, Wom, with them. Wom wishes he wouldn't speak of him like he's some sort of murderous psychopath who specifically became a soldier to legally murder dozens of people and leave families devastated in the wake of the corpses that he will be piling up underneath his feet, to then have a picture painted of him sitting on top of them. Huh. That was, a bit specific, but as long as he doesn't kill them, it should be fine. But the horn sounds for them to launch the attack on Stormvale. Commander's excited, and Wom constipated. Now behind a wood wall, Wom wonders where the hell the nearest toilet or bush is. Then a healthy amount of deadly arrows gets fired at them when pop goes the weasel. The ex-soldier next to Wom gets annihilated. Well, good news for Wom. It wasn't him, and he no longer has to use the bathroom, but he might want to get a move on before his weasel gets popped. The rest of the battalion quickly charges at the wall when the pop comes for Wom's weasel, but gets saved by a Walliard's water barrier. Wom wonders why. There are like 170,000 other soldiers here, so why shoot at him? While Nor, on the other hand, is very thrilled about something. Don't know what it is, but it's between her and her. The captain then Kratos chucks a spear at an important looking person on the enemy side and divorces his head from his body. They quickly charge at the castle when they then receive the orders to all out assault this castle now. Climbing on a ladder, Wom completes his mandatory QTE event with the help of Wallard. Now on top of the castle wall, it's time to hunt some wabbits. When then Nor calls out to Wom asking for any sort of assistance, as one of the Stormvale Knights has her trapped. Wom does his best Captain America impersonation as he throws his shield at the knight. The other soldiers back off to let them 1v1. Wom wonders could they kindly let them through so that they could just kill Godric the Grafted. The knight says nightly, "I'll never allow you to hurt my lees," as it's time to duel. As the knight plays the quick play spell card Rush Recklessly, this allows him to gain an additional 700 attack, but Wom uses Countergate to negate the attack and draw an extra card. It's now Wom's turn, as Wom tells the knight, "You're a 9th rate duelist with the 10th rate deck." Wom then goes in for attack with La Jinn, but the knight had a mystical elf set. It's now the knight's turn. He goes in to attack with Summon Skull, but it gets mirror forced. The knight is stunned. When can he have drawn such a card? Could it have been when he drew off a Countergate? That's impossible. Wom says his deck does not have any bad draws. Wom then activates the spell card Mage Power, attaching it to Blue Eyes Chaos Smack Dragon, then activating the spell card Shield and Sword on the Knight's Mystical Elf, and attack with Chaos Max. That's lethal. The Knight says, "He's a fucking cheater. He never properly summoned that Chaos Max." Wom laughs at the excuses a 9th rate duelist would make. With the Knight's dying breath, he says, "A cheating bastard like him will never get away with this." As all the enemy soldiers are like, how could our commander be defeated? He's never lost a duel before." When holy shit, who hit the castle wall? Godzilla? Oh, no, it was just the commander. Wom walks over to Nora asking her, "Did anyone teach her that in a shadow game, everything's fair?" No. So she was a 10th rate duelist all along. Seems like he's gonna have to show her what a 1st rate duelist looks like. as he starts mowing through all the 15th rate duelists. The commander asks Swalm, he cheated again, didn't he? Huh? Sounds like the excuses of one of those pathetic low-rate duelists. Well, since the first-rate duelists worked so hard, he can now rest and leave the rest to them. Nora walks over amazed at what it looks like to be a first-rate duelist. Yes, this is the true power of a king of games. But it's now time for him to steal their decks and rest. After collecting all the dead enemies' decks, Swalm takes off his helmet, takes a deep breath, and wonders, is there any duelist out there that could make his heart flutter? As he then falls asleep. What a lovely day to be in the breed of building that has slowly been going extinct called a bookstore, where these ancient relics called books exist. I know, crazy. Its decline really started once the app stores introduced Angry Birds to the world, and it's also where we meet our lovely store clerk, Rin, who's currently making bird calls, because that's what you do in a bookstore, duh, and the ever so lovely Sumireko. The two have a bit of banter, as the only reason Rin even works here is to see her. Yeah, pal, try again in 10 years. Rin's like, bet she wasn't being serious, only if he cared. But since they work in the ever-dying faculty of bookstores, actually this is Japan, where they have above a 3rd grade reading level, unlike a certain nation I know, so they may actually be thriving, but they're not exactly swamped, so it's pretty relaxed. Rin wonders why Sumireko's so tired. It's because she stayed up all night watching porn on an Urban Legends website. Yeah, an Urban Legends website. Alrighty, whatever you say. But look, a strange man has appeared. Oh, never mind, it's the manager. I think. Could be another employee. No one knows. He gives Sumireko a birthday present. A book. More like a fucking cursed grimoire. She's not exactly sure what to do with it either. Where did he even find this book? In a witch's closet? And would you look at the time? Looks like it's about that time to go home. The two have a discussion about one of the new employees that's working there and how she has written a really popular novel. Sumireko here also writes novels. What type of novels? Fanfic. That's why she works at a bookstore and loves being around books so much. Oh, so we're just going to skip over that. Got it. And has been struggling for inspiration lately. I mean, there's only so many times she can draw. I mean, write about occult stuff. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Both of those actions were unnecessary. Well, if it makes her feel any better, his younger sister's a big fan of hers. How old is she? A relevant question. Now, playing single player, Sumireko remembers back to her youth when she was receiving awards for her doujin novels by reputable sources, as the current her, some would call her washed, fallen off, tumbled, spin cycled, old timer, and what have you. As the clock hits quadruple zeros and it's her 28th birthday, she plops down on the beanbag and wishes she could go back to her younger days when her creativity was at its peak. But that one book that definitely has been in human sacrifices falls out of her bag. She took that shit home. I don't care that it was a gift. Still a dumb decision. So she decides to open the book and read it. Ah, an even dumber decision. As she reads the book, she reads the words, haha, gotcha bitch. Now, that can mean one of two things. One, it's a joke. Or two, this book now has possession of her soul. Really hope she's good at coin flips. As she receives a birthday text from Rin that says, you may be closer to an old lady, but you'll always be my old lady. What in the fuck did he send to her? Do you want to get stabbed? Yes, if it's only by her finely curated. I don't know where he was going with that, but no. Also, where is he? How old is Rin exactly? Old enough. Sumireko decides to go do some light late night shopping at the convenience store, as one would wander the store. However, she takes a look at her hand and notices, when has her hand been that size? Wait, when did her clothes get so big? Why is everything getting so big? Oh no. So it seems she lost that coin toss. Well, at least she's now back in her creative prime. It's now the next day, and can we believe it, she didn't show up to work. Wonder why. So Rin shoots her a text like, what's good? He receives a text that reads akin to, fuck off loser. Yeah, seems like the fire for her writing passions have been reignited, so that's good for all the quirky teenage girls. So it's been about a week and no word from Sumireko. So the good news is that we know she's not dead. The bad news is they can't get in contact with her, so abduction is still on the table. You know what that means? Time to go check in on her. Rin comes and investigates her room like it's an episode of NCIS, as her phone is here, but she isn't, which by far is the most unrealistic thing I've ever seen in any media. Kids borderline have their phones grafted into their skin. But Rin sees the book that's now the owner of Sumireko's soul and goes over to give it a sniff. and opens his eyes. And this is why the people with closed eyes in manga and anime are always #1 on the caution radar, cause the fuck is his eyes? Well, doesn't matter. Let's see what all she read in the book. Back to Sumireko, who's having the time of her life being back in the earlier days of her prime, as all the inspiration is constantly flooding her. Now, what is that inspiration? Too much, is all I'll say. As Sumireko would now like to go back home to get to work, but the over-inspiration has now made a large quantity of blood pour out of her ears. Definitely not an issue. Rin then just appears like Batman. I see, so he was smelling the book to pick up her scent. Huh. It's time to go back, as he's not a big fan of his big titty waifu being reverted into a lolly, as currently the lolly seems to be going through it because of that dumbass book that she shouldn't have brought home. Oh well, too late. Yeah, she's going through a lot of creative overstimulation currently, but she mostly is curious about who Rin could be, as he is not shocked by this one bit. Almost as if he's dealt with this before. Who could he possibly be? Well, those urban legends she has been reading, well, some of them are actually real. What the hell is he talking about? She hasn't been reading urban legends, she was watching porn. Fuck, that slipped out. Aha! He knew it. But it's too goddamn late now. If she would have just came clean and said the truth earlier, she would not currently be in the body of a child. Why would she even read the book? Well, she got it as a gift. People throw gifts out all the time or refund it. Where the hell was she possibly going to refund a book that looks like that? Well, she could have sold it to one of the occult people on the website. They would have bought it from her, no problem. She was never on an occult website to begin with, remember? Corn? Oh, right. But back to the curse. So it only triggers if the user has completed these 2 prerequisites. And what are those? They are: the reader must have written enough porn to fill up an entire Olympic-sized swimming pool. Fuck. And also be a virgin. Shit. Huh. 28-year-old virgin. He can work with that. If he tries to work with it, he will very swiftly find himself unemployed. Fair point. So she asked him, why was the book even given to her? Well, it either sensed her horniness from across the ocean or stupid dumb bad luck. Really? Yep. So Rin says they should probably get a move on before, yeah, this happens. What's happening to her? So, like, her stimulation is too much for a child's body to handle. It's like trying to squeeze an entire bottle of ketchup inside a single ketchup packet. So like, yeah, they kind of want to get it a move on before it looks like someone threw a red pumpkin on the ground. Luckily, it's quite easy to reverse the curse. All she has to do is read the part outlined in the moonlight, so she gets the book and reads. God damn it, you figured out the trick, huh? Son of a bitch ass motherfucking shit on her. And voila, would you look at that, our super sexy Sumireko is back in her full glory. She's gonna hurt him. Also, would he happen to have anything to wear? Why yes, he might actually. Oh, you gotta be shitting him. Well, she's taken off like a fucking NFL running back. She will not easily give back the tool that allows her to tap back into her creative peak. But Rin would really prefer her current peak. Also, when in the holy jump scare did he get there? Did she turn back into a child? Is the book now her Zanpakuto or something? My brother in Christ, who is she facing? Jason Voorhees? Oh wow, she deadass didn't make that book her Zanpakuto. Unfucking believable. Rin continues his need for speed, hot pursuit, exhausted, and Sumireko is dying, to say the least. Now face to face again, she refuses to give up her creative peak ever again. Does he not understand that at her peak, she could pump out 10 doujinshis, 20 fanfics, 3 erotic novels per week? Holy shit, that's a lot of content. Exactly. That's why she must keep the book even if it kills her. You know, funny thing about that killing her part, she doesn't care. She finally got her wish and she refuses to let it go. And if she gives it up, she'll never write again. But she can't give up. His sister's a huge fan of hers, no matter how much it concerns him about this fact. And if she quits because of this, what about his sister, who looks forward to all the content she writes? After hearing this, Sumireko evolves back into Gigantamax Sumireko. She says that's unfair to use her fans against her, and she gives Rin the book, and then collapses from, you know, the blood loss. Well, it feels good to have the #1 version of Sumireko back. So, the enemies outnumber us 2-1, what do we do? His point? Guys, it's easy. Simply just don't die. Well, when he puts it like that, he really has a point. Oh wow, that actually worked. How did that actually work? Captain, we've lost several men. See, that's what happens when you don't listen to orders. Captain, the numbers are not decreasing. He can see that, Lieutenant Obvious. He can count. Well, at least I think so. So, how is our MC going to escape this predicament? Oh my, would you look at that? Is that death coming for his neck? Yeah, probably going to want to get out of the way of that. Oh no. Oh no. That's not what one would describe as good. But how did Captain possibly avoid that? Well, that's simple, you see. Since death has already gotten him once, he vowed never again. So he now possesses the Peter Tingle, so he can feel whenever death is coming for his cheeks. Okay, so now that they know they have a cannon, all they have to do now is just not get hit by said cannon. Easy. Hey yo, Captain, your soldiers don't seem to be down with the plan. Haha! Now they have them right where they want them. Victory shall be theirs! Huzzah! But what's the worst that could happen? They die? Haha! Oh, thank Beard's muskets have the accuracy of stormtroopers, so the bullets will just simply not hit him. As for the rest of his platoon, as a once famous streamer said, I hope they figure that shit out. Now it's time for the captain to get the ever elusive killing spree. Wow, the captain has somehow confused the enemy by just running up on them like they owe him some money. It's now the time. Kill them all. Haha! Oh my god, they did it. How did they do it? I mean, they lost like 75% of the platoon, but hey, they still did it. All for the Imperial Army. Hey there, pal. How do I say this? I don't think he gonna make it. But the good news is they managed to delete all the porn off of his devices and burned all the magazines as well. So may Arceus bless his soul. Okay, so here's the plan. Bury the dead, treat the wounded, and once they've accomplished all of that, he'll take them all out for drinks and to Pound Town. Wait, no, not like that. Is Lieutenant Crumbert aware that mission his platoon was assigned to was a suicide mission? He is very well aware, because every mission they've sent him on, he was supposed to die. So why is he still alive? He wonders the same thing every day. Well, great, they'll be promoting him to a staff officer of a special task brigade. He's going where? What even is this task force? Because this is the first time he's heard of it. But why is he heading there on a carriage? And who is this serpent-ass lady who's also on this ride? Because they've been on this carriage for hours and she hasn't opened her eyes once. But she seems to be able to see everything, which is unfeasible. Like, he was so sure she was going to run into that tree earlier or at least trip or stumble on anything, but nope, she's done none of those. Is she perhaps a ninja? Unlikely. She is clearly someone he can't trust. No, it may be too early to judge, but look at her. She hasn't even peeped them open once. Oh, it seems it's time for her to get the hell off the carriage. Thank you, Athena. See, I don't care if she's grabbing his hand. How does she not fall? Wait, did she say they'll meet again? Sounds like a terrible future thing to not look forward to. Finally, here in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, after that uncomfortably long carriage ride. But isn't this a large-ass castle to be all the way out here in the boonies? Hey, you there. Hey, you there, you there. Hey, you there. I see you over there. What are you doing here? My god, she's tall. Best girl. By the way, he's supposed to be second in command of this place starting now. Wait, what? Well, she is Chief Sergeant Hannah Hayden. Sure, well, if she could be clutch and guide him to the brigade commander, that would be excellent. She will gladly take him to her, but just a bit of a warning, don't bring up the most obvious thing when you see her. Hypothetically, what would happen if he did bring up said obvious thing? Has he ever been inside of a pig? No. Does he want to be? Point taken. Well, now that she has his luggage, open the door. Hold. Oh my god, there are only women here. Oh my god, there's only women here. So does this count as a promotion or a demotion? Well, that's a question that only time will answer. Anyways, it's time to meet the brigade captain. But what's the obvious? Oh, that's the obvious thing. What's with that face? Is he surprised that the brigade commander is such a fine young maiden instead of some sleazy male noble scumbag? Yeah, that's definitely it. Just don't think it, just don't say it. Just don't think it, just don't say it. As he then hands the commander his Indeed resume to take a look at it. Just don't think it, for the love of God, just don't say it. Well, they're glad to have him on board. They've already prepared him a private bedroom and an office. Also, what has he thought of the brigade so far? It seems great to him. Deep breaths. Just deep breaths. By the way, what has he been thinking this entire time? Shit, has she noticed? Fuck. Change the subject. So, on his ride here, he saw a beautiful woman who would definitely kill him in his sleep that refused to open her eyes. So he encountered Duchess Rccap and managed to survive that encounter. Lucky him, as most men don't. But that didn't answer her question. What has he been thinking about? Just how he seems to be the only male here. Don't think it, don't say it, don't think it, don't say it. Why, yes, he is, but that shouldn't be a problem. It will all be fine as long as he doesn't mix up his thoughts with his words. Single, what's going on with the last name? Yeah, about that. So, like, he was an orphan, right? Then the church was like, you got a last name, son? He was like, nope. And they were like, yeah, you do. And he was like, well, shit, seems like I got a last name now. Wow, what an interesting way to get a last name. He's aware. Let's see, passed the military exam first try at the age of 15. Won a 20v1, holds multiple speedrun world records for Mario 64, can solve a Rubik's Cube in under 10 seconds. Yeah, so like to be honest with her, he thinks this military shit is for the birds because he originally was just going to join the accounting department, but all the nobles filled up the party and someone saw him hold a gun and must have thought he looked good because next thing he knows, they got his ass out there on the front lines. Huh, how interesting. It really wasn't that. Shit was ass, all because the nobles have the intelligence of your average Twitter user, and just because he used a big word once or twice, they put a target on his back, and it was so fucked up. But to be fair, they are all spoiled morons, so it makes sense not to put a gun in their hand. My god, the amount of friendly fire casualties that would happen would be preposterous. Well, that's funny, because she also thought the same thing. He thought of nothing. No, he means yes. Considering that he watched those Neanderthals in live action and has seen them do some truly baffling stupid things. She laughs at just how true that statement was. Just don't think it. But that being said, he has a lot of records to only be in his position. Well, the entire system is actively against him. Well, that certainly is a very good point. By the way, did he know that the commander belongs to one of those noble families? Excuse him, she's what? Now, there's no need for him to be so shocked. She's at the way back of the line. Is that the only reason she's at the back of the line? No, she would be at the front of the line if that was the case. Fuck, remember, don't think it, don't say it. It's really not that big of a deal, as her family tree is so fucked up right now. That shit looks like America's family tree. So, is he ready to be in charge of a platoon full of women? It will be tough, it will be tedious, and a lot of shit will not make a lick of sense, but he must go with it. He's fully prepared. She retorts, is he really prepared? Is he prepared to work here until the day he retires, to not have contact with another male to kick back and have some drinks with for several months at a time? Is he ready for it to be a permanent no-nut November around this bitch? Wait just a goddamn minute. He accepts those conditions. Wait, deadass? Yes. Yes, he is. Wow, she didn't think she would actually find a weirdo who would accept those conditions, but she's glad to have him on board. He's glad to be aboard. Well, now that he's officially aboard, she needs his assistance with something, and also wondering why the hell both of them are so tall. That's a question she should ask her gene pool. She is aware of that. Why did her dad just have to go and smash someone who's 5 foot on a good day? So it wasn't the height thing that was the obvious thing. Or is it only okay if she talks about it? Back on topic. First thing she's going to need him to do is whip the girls into actual combat shape, as none of them have actual combat experience. He responds, that's all he needs to do? Yep, that's all she needs him to do right now. Also, is he aware of the backstory as to why she made such a battalion? No, not at all. It's simple, really. Since they are women, there were really only 2 paths to take. Sell their freedom to TikTok, or sell their body on OnlyFans. So she made another path, to become a soldier and sell their life. Now, she understands this isn't the greatest alternative. However, it's still much better than the TikTok brain rot, as Hannah agrees that if it wasn't for the commander, she would be doing TikTok dances and trends for the rest of her life. You know, Cromberts has never really thought about it, but if he was a woman, he would be the baddest bitch, and would definitely not be here, but somewhere shaking some ass. How admirable of her to give these women another choice. Enough with his flattery, it's time to get to work. Oh, she was serious about him making them into actual soldiers. Yes, jackass, did you think she said that shit just to say it? He ain't gonna lie, kind of. Well, personally, she would love to turn this place into a resort and not have them fight at all, but the political situation ain't looking great right now. Is the political situation ever looking great, Commander? She responds, fair point, but it's looking worse than usual. So she's going to need him to make men out of them. Is the commander aware of what she's signing those women up for? Yeah, probably. But he didn't say the thing, so that qualifies today as a good day. Well, time to go train some soldiers. Listen here, you bags of estrogen. You may not have balls, but I'm sure as hell gonna bust them today. What in the hell is that garbage? Start that shit over, Private! So would either one of them care to explain what's going on here to her? She doesn't need to worry about that, since whores like her— ooh, that was a terrible mistake on his part. As our MC Francesca then asked a relevant character A1, is that the best he got, pussy? Looking at their faces, I believe that it is. Are they aware of whose territory they're currently attempting to commit a crime in? Nope, not really. Well, it's the Ravioli family's territory. They'd be much better off committing seppuku than committing a crime here. She thinks they don't know that. Yes, she does, because they just said they didn't know. But as the two start whispering among themselves, the jig is up. Their backs against the wall. They got the fucking drop on them. He knows that, but without the lingerie, how is he supposed to dress up his sex doll? Simple. You don't. Francesca proceeds to close her eyes and imagines a universe where she didn't hear that. Zamboni appears out of nowhere like an RKO with a scroll. The two wonder what she's doing as she pricks her thumb and puts it on the scroll and proceeds to hand it over to them. Listen, she's heard something she really wishes she didn't, and because of this she realized just how much of a loser he really and truly is and feels bad for him. So what she's going to do for them, him specifically, is give them this map and this letter with her fingerprint on it to take it to the brothel that's marked on said map. They won't have to pay for a thing if they show them the scroll, so that hopefully by tomorrow he will no longer be an unfathomable loser. But why would she? After hearing his reason for trying to steal the lingerie, it broke her heart to actually encounter a level 100 loser, as she can't stand losers. So she's doing this more for her than him. My queen, may he bow at your feet and lick them. And he ruined it. As she hears this, realizing it might just be incurable for him, and then gets the hell out of there pronto. This is why Zamboni told her to stop helping losers like him, cause they're a loser for a reason. And being the sole daughter of the Ravioli family, one of the 5 great underworld pasta families, she would really prefer not to be, as a mysterious man is seen looking out the window at Francesca. Who could it be? It's her fiance. But Zamboni is curious as to why she needed to put a blood seal on the scroll. Wouldn't it be better just to sign it like a normal person? First off, she is normal. And secondly, no one would then accuse them of counterfeit. I mean, she could tell from a mile away that they, specifically the dark-haired one, loser power level was off the charts. Is she aware that that's not something an ordinary lady could detect from that far away? Lies. But she can't wait to go to the Granular Academy, where the losers will be scarce and her normal life may resume. That's complete cap. Nothing about her is normal, even if we ignore the fact that she's a reincarnated person, and not only is she merely a reincarnated person, but that she reincarnated into a game that she played a shit ton when she was alive. Like a ludicrous amount. Like sunk an unhealthy amount of time into that single player game. So she is already completely aware of what's finna happen in this game and when it's finna happen. So she's already calculated the best plan to live the lowest of keys life as they then pull up to the mansion. Yeah, Francesca, your low-key life is looking real great. Also, this is her dad, the head of the Ravioli family. So what's he doing? Well, you see, this mongrel under him committed an unforgivable sin. While putting away Francesca's clothes, he was brutally stabbed with a knife, and his blood stained her school uniform. Normal life. Yeah, good luck with that, girl. As then the man who was brutally stabbed asked for her forgiveness. Wait, they didn't heal him either? As the butler says to not worry, as this man shall pay for this mistake with his life. Francesca wonders, what in the fuck levels of foolishness is happening when she just got back? Oh look, seems she also realized that like many dreams, her normal life dream is already in the shitter, as she's already biffed the story 5 times over. But sucks to suck, she can't dote on that as the plot of the main story kicks off next week. And just like that, it's been a week, and on such a beautiful day in such a rich city, as the city's only rich because of her family and the main villain of the game, her fiance's family of 1, the Lasagna family. You can guess why it's a family of 1. As in the original plotline, he bullies Francesca just because, and also to top it off, he tells her he's going to kill her one day. And with all these character traits, it's no surprise that he was, of course, the fan favorite, because why not? So our Francesca never hopes to meet him, but currently her UAV has detected that she's being followed, but she's a master of the game, so she already knows who it is and what time it is, as the Kame carriage comes blitzing towards Francesca, and they snatch her by the ribbon on her waist. Step 1 of the plan is going smoothly, as some onlookers gasp, some scream, and some say, "I wish that would happen to me." What? Who the hell said that shit? Back to Francesca, who's currently Mission Impossible in it. The kidnappers are getting frustrated. Good. But there's a slight miscalculation. Leonardo, her fiance, or the Ninja Turtle, is not here, which means that these thugs are useless. Thanks for only grabbing her ribbon, jackass, as all she has to do now is pull this, and there she goes. Wait, how fast was the carriage going? Not fast enough to harm her, doing a few tuck and rolls. The crowd gives a standing ovation for her technique on said tuck and rolls. But with that side quest avoided, it's time to go home and keep avoiding Leonardo. That shouldn't be too hard for her. But where's her hat? Damn, she loved that hat. But the wind direction at that time maybe blew it over. Oh my, would she perhaps be looking for this? My good God, Leonardo has never skipped arm day. Pulling someone up like that one-handed on a horse is actually pretty fucking wild. Anyways, he's now called his Francesca. Let's see. Jet black hair, check. Golden eyes, check. Fuck. She should probably hang on to her hat. Excuse her? Wait. Time out, time out, time out, time out. What's the problem? Can't he take his fiance out on a nice afternoon stroll on horseback? Hell, she proceeds to yell, "No, no, no, hell no, fuck no, absolutely not," as he seems to be enjoying this. If we look to our left, we see our MC Gongyu has finally caught him, the terrible villain Huang. Huang corrects him and says he is actually a she, and tells him, well, at least he now knows, but it's rather unfortunate that his friends over there play it out like Peter Griffin, who never learned the truth. She's a fucking liar, cause earlier she said that she was a he. Well, he can tell that Guangyu's always been the most curious about it, so why don't he cop a feel to confirm it? No, he will not be doing that. Instead, he'll be handing him over to the professionals so that they can reveal the truth. And his comrades just wanted to know the truth. Did she really have to kill them? As those sons of bitches still owe him over 500 grand. And he's going to need to make it up to him by telling him what he is. Breaking news! The world's worst villain has now been captured. So the world's 14th mystery of whether Hong is a he or a she shall finally be revealed. And they've also been sentenced to death for murdering thousands of people and sent to the maximum of security prisons for execution, but that's whatever. On the same topic, but another note, the hero group known as Equality was excommunicated from life, trying to figure out the greatest mystery of the 21st century. He should have just found Huang, because if he did, he could have figured out the mystery and could have gotten his money. When Gongyu's brother turns off the TV and tells him not to worry, they'll definitely get his money, but most importantly, they'll finally uncover Huang's gender, so that him, his companions, and the world could then rest easy. Yeah, his friends will sure be resting easy, as they're dead, so Gangho's correct about that. Gangyu then tells his brother about how he should have just gone for it, how he could have just done it, how he could have confirmed it with his own hands, and that he can only hope that he did make a terrible mistake, but why didn't he just do it then? You see, the reason he didn't is because the captain was like, you can't just grope someone even if they're a murderous psychopath. What happens if he were to grope him and it did turn out that Huang was a girl? Guess what? He would have not only just sexually assaulted a girl, but a minor on top of that. Plus, while being a hero, he's willing to take that risk if that means that he could solve the greatest mystery of the 21st century. No, they are heroes, not OV hoes or a Minecraft YouTuber. Begrudgingly, Gangyu agreed. His brother reassures him that he made the right decision, but leave it to the professionals like him, as he promises him once again that they will uncover Huang's true gender and to avenge all the people he's killed, he guesses. But that's more of a side quest to the actual quest. But they should probably go to the funeral now. At the funeral, Gongyu is fiercely pressing F to pay his respects. However, little did Gongyu know that the gender reveal execution would not just go wrong, but cartoonishly wrong. Now officially having the worst, no good, very bad day of all time. But then, a beacon of light, an extremely hot beacon of light, appears and wonders if he's Gongyu. And what's it to her? She hands him a tablet. Gongyu is not interested in becoming a Jehovah's Witness. She tells him it's something he's definitely going to want to see. We see Huang headed off to the gender reveal execution. Huang asks Gongho if he's just as curious to know what he is as his brother was extremely curious as to what she was. Back you, Vixen! He will not be deceived by her. Oh, so he thinks he's a she. Well, he may be right, or maybe he's wrong, but he is aware of what happens when people get wrong. They simply go, pop! And just by hearing what he said, he seems to be more curious as to what she is. So just as a favor, just for him, since he's related to his favorite person in the world, Gongyu, she'll let him cop a real good feel everywhere to confirm the truth for himself. He knows he wants to. She can see it in his eyes. Be quiet, you demon! He will not be swayed by such a slithering tongue. They will go through the proper procedures to end this. Is he sure this will be the end of it? Enough mind games, they're almost there now. At the chair of truth and conveniently death, the guards then line up preparing to expose the truth and also serve justice or whatever. Ooh, this is so exciting. She hopes that they get it correct, because if not, he hopes they're prepared for the repercussions. The guards prepare to press the button. 3, 2, 1. What? What the fuck happened? It was just getting to the good part. Patience. He just needs to keep watching. Damn, what is this, Super Bowl 47? Uh-oh. It looks like their guess was incorrect. So they know what that means. They should probably duck. Looks like they're going to need some backup along with some blue and pink smoke bombs pronto. And also, while they're grabbing those, if they could also grab him. Huang proceeds to grab the security guard on the shoulder, give a nice big smile, and bloop. Oh, that's not going to buff out easy. As Huang walks over to Gongyo as it's his last chance to guess correctly. Is he a boy or is she a girl? Gongho grabs a gender reveal stick and says, to hell with this, she's a girl. Ooh, that's the wrong answer. God damn it. This is his last shot to answer correctly. Gongho grabs the gender reveal stick one more time and yells at the top of his lungs that Huang's a boy, god damn it. Ooh, that is the incorrect answer. Hopefully his brother will have better luck than him. Are you fucking kidding him? Even after all that, and even killing his brother, they still don't know Huang's fucking gender? Are you shitting him? If he truly wants to know, he's going to have to go there himself to prison Alstafo. Just gives him more reason to grab that fucker really good once and for all. Glad he's motivated, but phrasing is important. Also, Huang's a minor, and on the lowest floor of the prison, so he's going to have to go through all 5 floors to get to him. But because of that EMP, all the power went out, which means all the prisoners are currently doing things that put them there in the first place. So if he could just take care of them on his way to the bottom floor, that would be great. So now that he's fully aware of what he's going to have to do, is he still game? Understanding is going to be a 2,000 versus 1? Of course, under one condition. She's listening. They'll have to pay for the dry cleaning and all the damages he causes. At said prison, the prisoners are prisonering it up, having the time of their life, when then the front gate starts opening, showing the bright, ever so and tantalizing taste of freedom right in front of them, or so they thought. Wondering who in the fuck is this dude, Gongyu introduces himself, as he's the new security guard here. But seeing his face closer, they recognize him as that famous hero. But why is a hero here? It's not like he's gonna kill them or anything. He's a stupid hero, and heroes can't kill people. Guard stands first technique. Execution fist. What in the fuck was that? I thought heroes couldn't kill people. Well, fucker, if you look at the corpses on the ground, it seems like he just did. Gongyu grabs the intercom speaker and says across the prison,
Dead, yes. He was a hero, but as of today, that shit is currently suspended, so all actions done from this point forward until further notice will not be done by the hero Gongyu, but the personal vendetta of Gongyu, the Executioner.